Hey folks, good morning from sunny Nebraska. Still having kind of a weather anomaly here. It almost feels like spring, but if you're from Nebraska, you know that's called the full spring. And it's no time to start gardening or anything like that, but we are going to take advantage of this unseasonably warm weather and do a new project that I put on my plate. But it's going to be fun, so stick around and I'll morning, cat. We'll get going with it. Well, if you're not new to the channel, you'll know that Mom passed away right at, let's see, 9 days ago, and kind of got lost in the mix doing all the administrative stuff that needs to be done when somebody passes, getting all the affairs in order. So we've been doing all that, and that's why you haven't seen us here doing videos. And got out doing a project this morning, and I'm like, hey, wait a minute, I make YouTube videos. Why aren't we making one? So we're going to do one today. I'll let you know that Mom passed on her own terms. She was ready to go. She was able to get back to her home there at the nursing home, which is what she wanted. And she was still conscious and everything when she got back. Was able to speak to all her friends. Was able to speak with Catholic priest because she's Catholic. And she died that very night. So I think she was kind of waiting on that. She was able to talk to all her friends and say goodbye to all her friends and all the fantastic people that work there in that facility. So we're going to be driving Mom home here later on in the month. She's going to go out and be buried with Pop. She was cremated, and we'll be taking her home. Now Kelly and I are going to probably do either a video or a live because we've got some issues with the medical process that we think everybody should really be aware of, and that you can kind of avoid if you're paying attention. And we're going to let you know what all that stuff is, and we'll lay it all out there for you in case you're ever in the same position. But let's get on this project. I apologize if the wind's going to be an issue out here with the microphone. But here's our project. We've got a little shed. We've been looking for a shed for a while. We're going to build a shed, a garden shed, to put all our garden tools and everything in, so I can get all the garden tools and garden stuff out of my shop. So it frees up room in there. And this shed was perfect. Our friends Scott and Sam had this. They got it from a friend of theirs. And they were going to use it for like a chicken coop, but they decided to go a different direction, and they called us up and said, hey, you want this shed? And we're like, yeah, let's do that. So he had it on a trailer. So I hooked it up to the pickup, hauled it over here. He brought his skid steer. We used our tractor and the skid steer to pick it up off the trailer and lower it down. And then we used both tractors to maneuver it in here. We've got it right next to the garden. We're going to have an entry from the garden so we can get tools right from the garden and don't have to walk out around here. So we'll put in a little gate right here, and it's in fairly decent shape. And I'm sorry I got ahead of you and got a head start on this, but remember, I had to remind myself I do YouTube videos. So what we had to do, the front end of this shed was out of square. The door was dragging down here on the ground. So the problem when you have a door and a window in one short wall like this, you can't get any diagonal braces, and it'll sometimes rack on you. So we had to tie a come along over here up on the top corner. We parked the tractor over here. We pulled the whole shed that way until we got the door kind of squared up and it would open. And then I bought a couple pieces of plywood downtown, and we made a shear wall out of this wall. We covered this whole inside of that wall with plywood, which you think the siding would have did it, but apparently it wasn't enough. So the whole inside wall right here is 3/4 plywood now, and we were able to release it, and it stayed, and we can still open the door. So I had to buy 2 pieces of 3/4 plywood, and oh my gosh, $80 for 2 pieces of plywood. Not even the good plywood. This is just CDX plywood. Insane amount of money. I'm telling you, these prices need to come down. So what was left, I cut down to 13 inches. There's 3 of these, and we're going to use those for shelves in here later. But what I want to do right now is our bottom board here is a little warped, and it's broke loose from the plywood here, so I need to push it in with the tractor and screw that back down because this edge of the plywood's all floppy. So we'll do that now. All right, there we go. It's warped. Yes, it is, but that'll actually help the water drain off of this porch. And that plywood's seen better days, but I'll coat that with something waterproof to get a few more years out of that. And then I'm going to get like a 2x6 pressure treated to put along the bottom here to close that up. We put 3 bridge planks underneath because it's got 2x6 floor joists going across. So put one on either side and one in the middle to support everything, and those bridge planks are treated, so all of that wood won't be on the ground rotting. So I'll show you on the inside here. Got our little rock door stop. The door even latches now, but not a bad little shed. It's already got some pieces of shelving in here, but we're going to redo all this. I've got to go to town here in a little bit, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get 6 pieces of OSB, probably 1/2 inch, 5/8, something like that. These walls are less than 8 feet, so I think 2, 4, 6 pieces will do that, and we're not 8 feet tall either. So we'll completely enclose the inside of the shed so we have smooth walls. I'm going to take all of this stuff down, and then remember that shelving that I cut. We've got 3 shelves that are going to go all the way around that we can put stuff up high, and then we can put our garden stuff in here, all our garden tools, all of our spray bottles and stuff up top up there, and this will be a real nice organized garden shed. There's the wall we just did. Might not be able to see it very well because it's going towards the light, but that sturdied up that wall. We used 3/4 because we wanted it to be nice and sturdy. But we'll have to put a couple backers to get some 2x4s, put a backer here and a backer here. So once this plywood goes in here, we'll have something to screw this other plywood to. We're going to need 4 of those, so I got to get 4 pieces of stud lumber, and then I believe we can splice on these middle pieces here just fine. At this vapor barrier paper, I don't know what was going to happen with that, but we can use that for something else. We've got some hooks in here we can take out. I want to put hooks, I want to put ceiling joists up in here so I can put hooks to hang like weed eaters and stuff up high. So we'll reuse all these hooks, some of these, maybe some of these shelf brackets. All right, we got everything off the walls. We are ready for sheathing. I think what I'm going to do next is sweep this thing out. Got a lot of nasties in here. Much better. Something was living in here and got the floor wet in here at some point. A lot of little mouse houses too. So it's about time. We need to run into town and grabbing some lunch for the kids at school today, a few of the kids, and do our mentoring, and we'll come back. Got to put some of these tools away too. If you're like me, you just gather more and more and more tools as you need them. I'm also going to pick up the sheeting I need at the lumber yard, and probably 8 more 2x4x8s, so I can do the shelving and stuff in there and do those backers. This is the whole corner here I'm cleaning out. All this stuff from about here over, and a lot of that stuff over there too can go in the shed. And then my blast cabinet can go clear against the wall. But it'll be nice to have all this room in our shop. And something else we did, I got Kelly's four-wheeler paid off. So it was time for me to go get something, because we like going up to the sand dunes up here in Nebraska, central Nebraska, in the sandhills. So instead of just getting another four-wheeler, I got a side-by-side, so it's more versatile. And this side-by-side here is a kind of a cross between the Polaris Razor and the Polaris Ranger. It's called a General. It's got much more leg room than a Razor, but still a little sporty. It's got a 1000cc motor in it. No roof, no windshield, no nothing. It's just made for playing around, but it's got a dump bed on it if we wanted to use it around the homestead. But I don't know how much we'll use it around here, because our place isn't that big. But that's going to be fun. So let's lock up and get to town. Still awfully dry here in Nebraska. Had a real dry winter. We're hoping to get some moisture here soon. Okay, we are back. We've got our sheeting and our 2x4s, so we can go in and get working inside. Now, an experienced person watching me cut would be, oh, that's going to kick back on him. But as long as when you're holding the end of this board, if you're pulling out this direction like this, it's not going to kick back on you. Only if you're pulling towards you as you're pushing the saw, then the saw will kick back on you. Okay, there's our backer right there. We've got one in all 4 corners. So we're ready to cut some sheeting. Now, I don't think any of this stuff falls on 4-foot centers, but I'm going to measure anyway. So we're probably going to have to cut or rip each sheet. All right, what we found out are only the center sections are on 4-foot centers, halfway on the studs. So we can do 3 complete sheets, 1 here in the middle, 1 here in the middle, and 1 here in the middle. All we have to do is cut them to length up here, which I believe is 88 inches. And then we can slap 3 of them in here, and then we just got to cut all the corner pieces. Now, before I get started, I remembered I had this vinyl frame window in the shop. It's an extra window. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to frame this section out here to accommodate this window. And we'll even make it slide up and down in a wooden track there. But that'll add a lot more light into this space since there's no electricity out here. Got our window opening cut, already a lot lighter in here. We put the bottom frame in there, and then we cut a sill board. Sill board is on an angle, so we used a 2x6 on this. I'll show you what it looks like outside. There's what it looks like out here. You can see we have an angled cut here, so it sits flush against the wood. I overlapped by 3 inches because we'll have trim boards coming around here. So we'll go ahead and screw this in. I'm going to screw right here into that frame we have in here, and then we'll come on this back side and screw through here. Our window is framed in. You can see here on the ledge, we left a little gap so the water can run underneath that. And then the window will just sit in there. We're not going to set it in yet though, because we're enjoying the breeze through here. And that'll also allow us to mark the plywood on the inside once we set it in the hole. Here are our giant wind chimes out there. Our propane tank wind chimes. So it's time to start cutting plywood. And we got to cut all of these sheets down to 88 inches. And I learned this little trick in construction. If you've got a bunch of plywood to cut, put it all together and put some clamps on it. Get it nice and straight all the way around. We've got our line marked on there. So we'll go through with our skill saw and we'll cut right along that line. And that last sheet on the bottom that doesn't quite get cut, that'll be marked for the rest of them. So all you got to do is pull the cut ones off the top and you don't have to re-measure your line. So we're going to start sheeting. Before you start putting sheets on the wall, you want to make sure to mark the center of the studs that aren't going to be exposed. You don't need to mark this one or the corners because you know where those are. Just this center one here, top and bottom, before you cover it up. And we did it on all the walls. Got the marks ready to go. Okay, we're ready to cut more plywood. You can see that's that saw mark. So we can just cut right on there. Got all three of our solid pieces up. We were able to mark that from the outside and cut that off. So we've already got all our pieces cut the length. So now we just need to cut the width, throw them in there, screw them up, and then the sheathing's done. Moving right along, only got two pieces left. Now another trick you learn in construction is to keep your factory edges together. You get a real nice fit. And even if you're off a little bit, when your other sheet comes in, you've got a 1/2 inch overlap to cover that. So you see we got a real nice factory edge there. Nice factory edge there. I mean, I cut it pretty good, but if I had any gaps, that sheet going in would hide it. Okay, we've got all our sheets in. So we're starting on the shelving now. I put this shelf below the window, so it's kind of like a workbench here in the back. And then because there's no window over here, I'll probably come down about 2 feet or so. We'll do another one there. And then because of the door, we'll probably put a high shelf over here just for small stuff. So when you work by yourself a lot, you figure out how to do things to where they're not terribly hard. So putting this up, you'd think, who's going to hold one in while I put the other one up? Well, just measure down where you want to be in the center. And then we put our marks here. And then you can hold it in the middle. It doesn't matter if it's moving around or not. Put a screw in it. And then all you got to do is measure on each side. Make it true. Put the rest of your screws in. I think I've decided to put another shelf just right above the window, because if I go above the door, I've got such a small space. And then you have the peak here where you could store bigger stuff if you wanted. So I think that's the plan, and then we'll have kind of a cool little corner here, and it leaves the walk-in area clean. So these shelves are so long, I want to put a bracket here in the middle to hold the outside of it up. And then these are just 45-degree angles. And it may seem complicated to figure this, but it's really not. You've got same distance here to the wall to here on a 45-degree angle. So this is 10 3/4 to the wall here. So you would come 10 3/4 down to here, and then long point to short point. So there's our brace. Now another thing I did is I cut 1.5 inches off the point up here, so this thing would slide up and be flush right here. So looks pretty trick. Just got to make 2 more. Well, there you go, folks. Everything's ready to rock. Got the shelves up. Everything's cool. So I was going to load this thing up tonight, but I think I'm going to go put the bucket on the tractor, pick up all this wood, put my tools away. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, folks, we're back on the shed project here. It's been a couple days. We got some snow yesterday, but it's all melted off now, but it's windy, so I'm coming to you from inside the shed, of course, so you don't have to deal with the wind. So far today, I've been dressing up our old shed with some signs I got at an auction a while back, just to kind of make it a little man cavey in here. Even had an old retro Repop moon pie thermometer over here. Pretty cool. We find some other cool items, we'll put them in here. So before I start loading this shed, I need to put a couple more ceiling joists up here. This is only a 1x, but I think we can get by with putting a 2x for here, and I believe I have those to do it, so I'll get them cut and installed. So I realized I'm out of 2x4s, but come to think of it, that's too high for Kelly to reach anything, so rather than put the long-handled stuff up there hanging in the ceiling, I'm just finding places to hang them on the wall here so Kelly can reach them. Okay, it took an hour or so and the wind's going crazy outside, so glad I'm working inside. So got everything brought in here. This garden stuff, got it all out of the shop. Got my barrel full of hand tools. Go around, got all our pruning stuff on this side. I got my long handle pruners, my loppers, my pole saw, electric, anything having to do with pruning over there. Got PVC up top. Got all my spray stuff here. I got to get a handle for this broom, and I'll leave this broom out here to clean out. And then got my cob forks and potato forks over there, chainsaw, packer, scythe, weed puller. Got the wheel hole. That thing's full of wheel hole parts. Got hedge trimmers, sprinklers, all that good stuff. Got my picking bucket, my live traps, concrete tools, and a bunch of stakes and stuff for the weed whackers. Got both weed whackers over here. Got my planter and all my planter seed plates. Got my T-post puller and my T-post driver. Got all my drip stuff over here. Got some fencing stuff here, fencing staples, fencing pliers, lawnmower tune-up parts. Got my extra flags that go around the garden, my tie twine. And I took a bunch of my duplicate tools and set up a toolbox to have out here so I don't have to run back and forth to the shop. So I'm liking this quite a bit. It really freed up room in the shop. We'll show you that. And we'll show you the front of the shed here. Got one of our old family signs up there. Pretty cool. We're going to have to give a little TLC to the shed later on. Only one thing missing right here. That's the ticket. Let's get out of this wind. There's our corner of the shop where all of our garden stuff was. Got it cleaned up real nice. Got room for our blast cabinet now, and our table saw, band saw. Got my surveying equipment up there. So really going to enjoy having that room. I've got to get rid of some of this wood. I need to reorganize my tool shelf over there. And I need to go through these windows and figure out which ones we're going to keep. Kelly wants them for a project. Here's all my future projects down here. I think Kelly's going to turn this old washing machine into a planter. And then just all around tidying up the shop. So super fun project. Really appreciate our friends Scott and Sam for donating that shed to us. Going to be a game changer here on the homestead. I know I say that a lot, but I really appreciate stuff like that. Been wanting a shed for a while. It's just really cost prohibitive, so we were super lucky that our friends had one that they didn't want. So hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. We love you guys. Come back and see us here at the farm. We'll probably start doing some more regular videos again now that things have settled down, but I got a long trip to make here pretty soon, so I don't know how much video is going to be done during that. But once I get back and get settled in, we'll be back at it. Love you guys.